We're going to introduce now a strangely important matter to the study of Greek. It seems less than important because the topic we're covering seems so small in significance, but I will tell you, if you learn this lesson well, it will make your Greek study so much easier. When I was an undergrad student, I took 6 semesters of biblical Greek and 4 semesters of biblical Hebrew. And there was always this underlying fun tension between my Greek professors and my Hebrew professor. My 2 primary professors, one on Greek, one on Hebrew, after their days at Central Bible College became professors at Evangel and have now both retired from Evangel. But I remember my Hebrew professor using the discussion about the definite article as a way to taunt Greek students and the Greek professor. Because he would talk about that in Hebrew, there is literally one expression of the definite article, and it's expressed as one letter. One letter is the definite article in Hebrew. And he used to torment Greek students saying, you think Greek is easier, you think Greek is a better language to study. Greek actually has 24 different expressions of the definite article. There's 24 different ways you can say the definite article, which gives the impression of how much more difficult, 24 more times difficult to learn Greek. And I will tell you, yes, the Greek definite article can be inflected 24 different ways. But that being said, the Greek definite article is one of the most helpful elements to the whole language and study. So learn this well. So let's take a few moments and let's learn the Greek definite article. And when we say definite article, that means it would be translated with the word the. In English, we have an indefinite article, a or an. There is no indefinite article in Greek. So when we talk about the article, we're only talking about the definite article. So from now on, we'll just refer to it as the article. If you don't have an article in front of a noun in Greek, then you will often translate it to make it make sense in English with a or an. So you have to supply the indefinite to make it translatable into English. If the definite article is present, then generally you want to first try to translate that passage or that phrase with the definite article with the definite article, the. Now sometimes Greek will put the definite article in places that it just doesn't work in English. And so you might have to drop it out. But always try to translate it first with the word the supplied, if it's there present in the language. You know, this happens in other languages too. Even in English, depending on where you're at. In England, they may often refer to going to hospital. They may not put the definite article in front of it. We usually would say, go to the hospital. I'm going to the hospital. Are you at the hospital? In English, in England, they oftentimes don't put the definite article in front of that. So it's are you going to hospital? So there's just different languages do different things with the definite article. Let's look now at how we inflect it in the different language charts we've got here. So if we bring our attention back to our chart, and we're still working just in the nominative and accusative cases, let's look at how and you're going to see a lot of similarities between the endings of the noun chart and the definite article. So make sure you pay attention to the rough breathing mark that's over those. So here we go, going across, ha, he, ta. That is the word the in the nominative case across the masculine, feminine, and neuter. Now let's go down. So we're going to look at all the masculine, nominative, and accusative, singular and plural. Ha, tan, hoi, tous. Now here's what, if you're listening, you're going to begin to pick up that on some of these, because of the ending and the similarity between the case endings and the article ending, or the article, what you're going to end up having is you create this almost musical, poetic expression in the language. So if we go back, if you remember the accusative plural of the word logos is lagous. If you put the definite article in front of that, it would be tous lagous. It has this rhyme to it, hoi lagoi. And so you're going to hear that in the language, and it gives it kind of a musical sense to it. Ha, tan, hoi, tous. In the feminine, he, tain. See reflected here that we're going with the eta ending in the article in the singular. But remember, even eta ending stems in the feminine, when you get into the plurals, they always change to alphas, and we see that reflected here as well. Hi, tas. Ta, 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 ta. They really pretty much sound the same, even though one is an omicron and one's an alpha there. And you'll also notice this is one of the places where you don't get a ton of help between the article, because the nominative and the accusative are the same for the neuter in both singular and the plural. Ta up here, ta down here. Again, in translation, generally, try to translate it if it's there. If it just doesn't make sense, then you can drop it. Also, if it's not there in front of a noun, you may want to then just supply, if you need to, the indefinite article for English, a or on, or a or an. But you've got to learn this chart. If you can, and we're going to add, remember, 2 more cases in here in the next chapter. When we get to that, you will have the full article chart, and this will be of incredible value now. But even more so when we get to things like participles, you want to have this down. This is always your clue. Even if you don't recognize what's happening with the noun, if you see the article and you know all of your articles well, you will immediately know what that noun is doing as a function in the sentence. So take some time, learn this chart. Usually when we refer to the lexical form of the indefinite article, we refer to it as ha, he, ta. We just go across the top. Because you've got to remember that when the lexical form is the form, if you're going to go to a lexicon, you want to look it up. Well, if you see ta down here, and you try to go look it up by ta up here, you won't find it because it's not listed here. So, in the case of an article, or adjectives do this as well. Adjectives are inflected in every gender in every case, singular and plural, because they always have to match the word they're attached to. That's actually a clue. The article, in its root grammatical sense, is actually a form of an adjective. And that's why we conjugate it or inflect it in all of the cases and all of the genders, because the article has to match the noun that it's attached to. So, but if you look at tas, you cannot find tas in the lexicon. You will always find it by the masculine, and this is true for adjectives as well. The lexical form of the article or of adjectives is always the nominative, singular, masculine. That is that's the lexical form for a noun or an adjective that is conjugated, article or adjective that's conjugated in all of the different variations here, in all 3 genders and all 4 cases ultimately. When that's the case, then you look up here. It's the nominative, masculine, singular. That is your lexical form. All right, that's the article, and the article will be your new best friend as you learn to study Greek.